Salute to all the real ones out there. It's your boy Mike coming at you again with another video. Y'all like the content that I've been dropping, the direction that my channel is going in, man? I need you to like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos with anybody else you think may benefit from them, all right? Now, today's topic is going to be 82nd Airborne Division. 82nd Airborne Division. And that's the unit that I was attached to when I was in the Army. Like I told y'all in my other videos, I used to be a medic. And I got a lot of cool things that I could take away from being part of that unit. They stuck with me all the way to this point in my civilian life, and there's just a lot of solid values that I was able to pick up on when I was airborne. You know, and there's like a big pride that you get from being part of such a historical unit. You know, jumping out of planes and just having that camaraderie that I experienced was something that was very beneficial in my life. So I'm going to give you guys like a little history about 82nd Airborne Division, and then I'm going to talk about some of my key takeaways that I basically will always have as part of my life. So 82nd is an airborne infantry division of the United States Army, and they specialize in parachute assault operations into denied areas. All right, with the U.S. Department of Defense. Our requirement, like the thing that made us pump our chest full of pride, was the fact that we can, quote, respond to a crisis contingency anywhere in the world within 18 hours. And that's true. You know what I mean? Like, we had combat sets that were put inside of inside of shipping containers, right? And we have vehicles that were always staged and basically ready for airborne assault operations, meaning, yo, we get the call from the president saying that we need to be in whatever part of the world. We literally could all have our stuff pre-packed, and upon receiving that call, could literally be all on transportation headed that way. Really no problem for us to drop all of our equipment and set up right there on a let's say a drop zone. We can establish our own little city within hours of actually landing. You know, so it was cool being part of such a unit. So, brief history. The division was constituted originally as the 82nd Division in the National Army on August 5th, 1917. And this is shortly after the American entry into World War I. It was organized on 25th August of 1917, which was just 25 days later, at Camp Gordon, Georgia, and later served with distinction on the Western Front in the final months of World War I. Since its initial members came from all 48 states, the division acquired the nickname All-American Division, which is the basis for the famed AA that you'll see on either side of the shoulder patch. The division later served in World War II, where in August 1942 it was reconstituted as the 1st Airborne Division of the United States Army and fought in numerous campaigns during the war. So, you know, I don't want to bore y'all to death. I basically just took that from Wikipedia just so you kind of know about my unit, because I did take pride of being a paratrooper. And wearing that maroon beret just did something to you, you know, to march around and know that you had, let's say, predecessors who jumped into Normandy, did some very ballsy stuff that honestly you even see in like Hollywood movies. They really try to reenact the scenes that our predecessors really lived. Fort Bragg is home of the 82nd Airborne Division. It has about 57,000 service members and about 11,000 civilian employees, making it one of the most populated U.S. military installations. And the division itself consists of a division headquarters and headquarters battalion, 3 infantry brigade combat teams, a division artillery, a combat aviation brigade, and a sustainment brigade. So it's basically all encompassing, man. With 82nd, you literally have everything that you could possibly need, going from engineers to heavy artillery to light infantry to mortarmen to fucking, you know, medics, dental tech. Like you have everything you need. And like our track record is pretty solid. So I was part of the 1st Brigade Combat Team, which is basically called the Devil Brigade. I was in 307 BSB, so that's Brigade Support Battalion. And I was a medic who basically we had a team of medics, and we would just basically get attached to other infantry and cavalry units within our own brigade. So, case in point, we all get deployed as we have our BSB, we over here. But then we hear that the infantry is about to go on a mission and do this, that, and the third. What they'll do is they'll take one of our medics, and then we'll probably be with them for anywhere from just that mission all the way to the end of the deployment. So every time they go out, we're actually attached to them. So that it was a cool experience. But let me go ahead and give you some takeaways from being a paratrooper. All right. Number one, structure. Like, I can't even begin to tell you how beneficial this is. My mind has become so, I guess you could say, my mindset has become very strategic, because even when I was younger, I always had like some type of structure that I like to follow. I'm a Taurus, so you know how we think. Or if you don't, then just know that Tauruses are very like practical, whatever they think about doing. They're not with all this heady thinking and, head all up in the clouds and don't have a plan of action. Like, a Taurus is normally just trying to do some shit. So that got like supercharged by me being in 82nd Airborne Division, because I started to think of the 5 W's and how. Who, what, when, where, and how. So anytime you think about some stuff, it's like, all right, what needs to be done? How can I accomplish it? How long of a time frame do I need to accomplish it? What are the points of contact? Like, it gives you a way of thinking where everything becomes laid out in practical steps, and you never get tripped up regardless of the magnitude of whatever you're trying to accomplish, because you have this internalized way of trying to accomplish it. So that's one thing that I definitely took from being airborne. 2, discipline. Like, being a paratrooper, man, jumping out of planes and being part of the unit that I was in, discipline was just paramount, man. And this is where I really started to accept the fact that the law of action is literally law number one. I mean, when I begin to explain to you like how disciplined our squad was, bro, like, it didn't matter what we had to do. Everybody had their fair share of work. We divvied it up real quick. We had everybody trying to get the things done in an expedient manner. This is where you get the sense of urgency, attack with vengeance, carpe diem, seize the day. All this stuff got really drilled into me when I was in my unit, and discipline was paramount. Like, it didn't matter what I had to get done. Not only did I have the structure, the way to think about it, but I also had the willpower to just get my fucking ass in gear. There was no excuses, man. There was no pussyfooting around any issue. Yo, be here on time. You don't show up on time, you get smoked right there. Like, there is no, oh, I'm gonna wait till after formation, I'm gonna bring you off to the side. No, you're getting smoked right there in front of everybody. Female, male, it did not fucking matter. And that made everybody have like a razor sharp discipline. 3, running. I've never really been much of a runner. Clearly, you guys can see I'm 35 years old. There's not like an ounce of fat on me. I've never been fat. I've always been slim. Pretty much athletic build. Had no problem like getting on the basketball court, no stretching, nothing. Just getting out there playing 5 games. So I always had a fast metabolism and things like that. But as far as running, I never really took much of a liking to it until the Army, I could say, when I joined. But when I was specifically in my unit, dog, if you're airborne, you're going to run a lot. I'm talking about every day. Like, it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday runs, Tuesday, Thursday muscle failure. That's how we was pretty much rolling on a consistent basis. And those Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm not talking about you're just going on a light jog. No, you're running. You're running your ass off. Ask any paratrooper. If anybody's a paratrooper, get up in the comment section and let me know what unit you was in. And just tell them the truth. It's true. Dog, you're running 8 to 10 miles. Sometimes in just one session. You're running for an hour and a half. Like, when we came back, our PTs were soaked. So what I learned about running is like, yeah, of course, that's a form of cardio, an effective one at that. But being in 82nd was the first time I really like experienced on a consistent basis this runner's high. If you guys have never heard about that, it's like when you reach this level of almost euphoria as you're running, because your body and your brain are in such a smooth tandem with each other, you know, and you honestly feel like you could run on forever. It's almost like a chemical concoction is going on in your head where now you almost feel high, like if you smoked or if you took a drug, you really feel like a genuine, I guess the best way you could say is ecstatic. You feel very excited for some reason. So that's what I definitely took from 82nd. Another thing was body weight exercises were real heavy. You know, I wasn't like hitting the gym, lifting weights like I do now. But I could say the body weight exercise I was doing back then left me shredded. And I'm not talking about just push-ups and sit-ups. I'm talking about like doing these fireman carries, doing, you know, elevated, all the different variations of push-ups you could do, air squats, doing lunges, reverse lunges, doing karaoke's. All of this stuff like made me shredded. Early bird gets the worm. That kind of goes along with like discipline and structure. But I will say, that's where I really internalized that mentality. And I realized that the first one up and the first one out usually just succeeds over everybody else. Vigorous routines. If I broke down my schedule, like sometimes when I would just look at our schedule for the week, I would think, what madman fucking wrote this? But then by the end of like, let's say Thursday, we already got everything done. So I'm like, damn. I didn't realize how like fast our unit was as far as they'll give us an insane task. Like, hey, I need y'all to go down to all the connexes. Dude, we might have 15 connexes. I need y'all to take all this stuff out and get ready for a layout. I realized like later on in the afternoon, we're literally like 8 connexes in. But this is supposed to be a task for maybe a month. How are we 8 connexes in and it's only the first day? Like, dude, I'm telling you, our unit, yo, man, we was on point. We were on point. We had a very, very rigorous workload. Another thing I took from 82nd that I really liked, and I saw that it was a very effective way of handling, let's say, soldiers. There was a heavy, heavy influence on training. I mean, to the point where literally everything I did when I first encountered a real life patient in Iraq, it was straight muscle memory, man. I didn't have to think about anything. All those times that I was tearing off tape and, you know what I mean, writing the time on the tourniquet and or putting on tourniquets and, you know, latching it on so it's tight, you know, checking the pulse, doing this, doing that, using the equipment, you know, the fast way to get some gauze open, how to just moving with all that stuff. It was so repetitive, and I thought, I'm ready to just do the real thing. But when I did the real thing, there was a moment of shock when I saw my first patient. That shit was crazy. It was a helicopter pilot, and his fucking, like his face was just gone, just ripped off. So when I saw that go past me, I was like, oh shit. And then I kind of like went to it might have been like 3-4 seconds, but to me it felt like it was like everything in the whole world slowed down. And I remember somebody told me to snap the fuck out of it. And when I got onto the patient, I just saw that my hands were just flying. It just seemed like packages and tape and all this stuff was just going past my head, and I was just boom, 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 and I was telling other people what to do. And that all came from that heavy emphasis on training. Another great thing that I love doing this in my civilian life, reverse planning and preparation. Like, take for example when me and my wife go on a trip. Like, we don't forget shit. There's nothing we're forgetting. Like, we got everything figured out. I got like a little folder that I put all of our ticket information in. I'm backtracking. All right, well shit, you know, when's our flight? Our flight is at this time. Okay, so when we need to be there, we need to be there at this time. All right, I backtrack all the way to the present time, and I'll make a plan. Okay, well, in the next hour, we need to do this, that, and the third. The next 2 hours, we need to already be on the way. You know, you got money, we need to do this, that, the third. Like, it gave me like that, kind of goes back to the structure, knowing how to like get a task done by taking the end goal and reversing it back, i.e. reverse planning. Another thing I liked about 82nd was everybody was a leader. Everyone was expected to be a leader. There was none of this, oh, well, my sergeant said, or, oh, no one told me. Like, no, motherfucker, you about to get up in front of the class. I remember I was only a PFC, but I was in front of a whole brigade giving a CLS course while my sergeant just overwatched. And the idea is training your replacement, you know what I mean? Which is my next point, training your replacement. I like that one because it allows for a different type of leadership. Because when you think of it like, yo, this person's going to take my job, you don't hold back any information, which I see in the civilian world a lot. Like, people don't want to give you information. They don't want to groom you or really professionally counsel you. That's something we did every single 3 months in 82nd Airborne. You will literally have your sergeant pulling you to the side, telling you about yourself and what you need to work on, and asking you, what do you think you need to work on? And they would even ask for what you find from your point of view that needs to change. You got rewarded for taking initiative. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, the mentality in 82nd is just do it. It ain't none of this thinking about it. Hey man, our barracks look dirty. Just do it. Clean it up. Oh, well, no one told me. No, just do it. And the last thing I really liked about being a paratrooper was that your boundaries are continually pushed. It's like the idea is you're in competition with yourself and you want to outdo you. You know what I mean? Like, literally, there have been times that I ran so hard. No one was telling me to, but I ran so hard just to see how fast I could go that I literally just threw up and still kept fucking running. So that's neither here nor there, you know what I mean? That's just a couple things or a few things I liked about being airborne. So I hope y'all got something out of the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and holla back.